Hello and welcome. It is July 17, 2018, almost 1900 hours Eastern Time. Let's take a look at the markets. This is the Money Chart channel. And like always, all bets, wagers, trades within your own risk, own reward. I find this the best gambling game, calculated, advantage player enabled, one or such in town. Advantage player enabled, what does that mean? It means that long term, based on a successful strategy, one should come ahead in the long term time frame, and the amount that you can come ahead in this best game in town, I think, is amazing. Well then, let's talk about the charts. Inverted head and shoulders pattern, so obvious, basically by the book how one would want to draw it. And now the breakout. I drew a line in at 69.35, and the reason for doing such is because when you get to points where it's if you go to a key level, you break this key resistance or support, that's when you need to go long or short or all that type of stuff. Meaning, you think you're gonna have a nice leg higher on a break of the neckline, so you want to get just as barely above the lowest that you can, but when it's noticeably above the neckline, which is where 69 1/3 area came into place. 15-minute time frame, well, it just shot through that area relatively fast. A 3-minute time frame, ditto, it did the same. That's why when these moves happen, as I've stated before, they can happen really fast, case in point. So within this market, it's either going to be the failed breakout, move lower, or a start of a new bull market. For band 1, flattening out has been in place. Stage 2, resistance established, definitely good enough. I want to see how this will handle if it stops going up for now and it comes back to around the 6,800 area, if support would be found amongst that level. For if we look at possibilities from here, and we'll throw out the situation of it just goes way up from here, which it technically could do. And that would be another very overextended, interesting, bullish story. We'll get into that if such an event happens, but that's why I don't think it will. That's why I won't talk about it. So therefore, successful move. One that would do something like that. And of course, the 18 average would come in and work within a correctionary move, something amongst that nature. But if there's going to be any serious move to 3,000, it wouldn't surprise me if there was a failed breakout before it happens. And I'm not going to try to predict or be the one that's going to even say what the chances are on this happening or not. But if there's a situation in which it manages to come back down, but then do something like that, thus when it comes back to the 18, you'd immediately start to see some weakness and then resistance in that form there. I'd be pretty confident that this is most likely got a good chance of happening soon, but I've been confident on several occasions that this thing was ready for a big down move. In particular, in here, in here, and even for that matter, this was an interesting one back in there as well. But it's been holding this general area of key support as it stands right now. This rally is still barely over 7,000. It's got a long ways to go. But if I draw a line amongst the key area, I'll probably do 2 horizontal rays, because you had the area of key support from the April lows. It was hit there multiple times. And where I draw the line for the February lows, anywhere in that area is fine, whether I pick the lowest point, because it was one of those quick moves that sold off and rallied very fast. So another horizontal ray I want to put near the resistance of that level. And of course, you can even put one below again for a third level. But the reason why I'm doing this is because this is about the furthest to the upside I can go for that key area of support that it's at. And if it doesn't get above where it's at now, thus a possible failed breakout, then this would still be finding resistance in my book at this key level. Of course, it's now between 6,500 and 7,240 as shown amongst here. So any move like that would just be quick move, support, and then I'd be saying all of this long resistance. But what's going to happen is just that. What will happen? And for myself, if this market goes, whether it does a straight up move or whether we have any type of normal bunch of retracements along the way, then that's most likely going to mean crypto spaces in general is going to remain in a bullish situation. And a lot of the altcoins will go up, and I'll just keep trading back and forth because I, for the most part, don't try to predict markets on the very short term time frame, rather react to them on the short term when the buys and sell orders get executed. Of course, long term, I'm very confident that there's a good chance cryptos will go well to the upside, that is, and that's why I'm invested in towards such. Taking a look at a few altcoins. For one that I just recently traded would have been Zencash, doing so against the Binance coin. And this is its daily chart. Not much really to look at. Nice little down move, some sideways consolidation around the little over the one handle, and a little bit of up move. Nice little bullish pattern after this move here, going sideways and now breaking out. But with us being the only data, let's take a look at this on a shorter term time frame. And then we can just scroll and see a lot more amongst this coin. Now what I see here is something going from, at least from this high, 310 on May the 25th down to 1. Now up to, well, pretty much doubling that. I sold last at $1.98, $1.99 area. So therefore, I like the extreme volatility within the game. So why am I in cryptos? To play the game. It's all about the game and how you play it. It's all about control. And if you can take it, I am the game. You don't want to play me. Actually, let's play the game. I'm using a Motorhead song, which is used for Jean-Paul Levesque, Triple H's WWE character music lyrics. I love it because it works within, to me, stuff like this. Trade the game of crypto trading. To me, the best game in town is that. Vantage player game is that of cryptos. Okay, so that's why I like playing these markets. And I realize I'm just going to not try to predict it, but be ready by having buy orders in place. If I can afford 2 buy orders, I do so. How do I do 2 buy orders? One for a normal move lower. I sold at $1.99. So I don't want to buy till at least 150. And then after that, I'm going to be looking to put an extreme buy order down. Maybe 0.3, 0.2. Like a 7-8x move, just in case. Because if this one gets hit first, oh, put a new sell order or sell orders in. And then I'll put a buy order maybe somewhere down here, maybe at 1. And then again, maybe at 0.2. So 2 buy orders in, and just in case I get that big flash move, I'll be happy to get the buys. So 3 sell orders come in. So therefore, if I'm selling at 2, I'm going to sell next. I think I got a sell order for like close to 3, actually. This is my next one. I think it's well over 250, somewhere up here. And then I'm going to put one for a decent gain above that, and then one for a sick larger gain, like 7x, 5, 8, 9x from the last one, where I will sell, well, for example, I might sell maybe 20%, 25% of what I got there. And then of the remainder, I might sell maybe 30% of the remaining function, of the remaining, and then 100% left on the top one. So say if I had 100, I would sell about, or I'd sell about 20 here, and that would leave me with 80. So 30% of that would be about 25. And then the big one would leave me with 55. And If this sell order hits, then I'll make 3 new sell orders in the same way and then 2 new buy orders in the same way. So I'd kill these 2 buy orders, say the 150 and the 20, and I might move the 150 up to like say 180. But of course, that's how I trade. I'm just sharing my ideas within my strategy. Let's look at Nano, which has been requested. I'll take a quick look at it. And this is one that was up at like 19,000 in February, down to 4,000 now. So 5x loss after its April Fool's top. After the April Fool's rally was over, it small went from 10,000, losing 60% plus of its value. And its move amongst the 18 average, finding resistance there several times. But now it has finally neutralized the situation a little bit. So for myself, if I'm ever looking to enter into positions, I hate entering positions in spots like here where the market's overextended above the 18. It really does suck because, well, stuff like that can happen. And this way, if I at least enter into a spot like in here, yeah, I can still work out bad. And all I'm going to get is maybe a small amount of selling here after buying again in here. And then a whole whack of buying would come into place, playing the type of game that I like to talk about. But how often have I seen these markets have rallies that are much faster than the declines that preceded it? For this decline was from the point of May 4th to June 26th. We're looking at about close to 2 months, 7+ weeks of a decline. It wouldn't surprise me if in 1 week it got it all back when the market is ready to go. This can be traded against the Binance coin as well as Ethereum as well. Against BNB, you got a somewhat of a similar pattern, but since the May 4th highs, price action had established this level of resistance in here, mainly through time correcting, and it's actually just barely breaking above this average. Volatility amongst BNB much larger. This is why I like trading this exchange more. I want to get as much volatility that I can for my strategy. 726 handle down to the 150 handle. Just let those volatile numbers sink in. Furthermore, the volatility amongst crypto space over the last few months, in comparison to the many months that preceded it, has been very low. So the potential for this to even have a major boost from the volatility that's already in play would most certainly not be that big of a surprise for me. So I don't own this particular coin, but it gives me great options to do things like, well, if you get into it, okay, let's put like if I were to buy this right now, what I would do after buying it is I would look, you know what, I could almost sell this originally for a good 30-40% gain. Put a sell order somewhere here. Then put another one say up towards here, somewhere in that range, and then one at about 3 or 4 units. So again, do the same thing. I would sell about 20% here, and then just have these bigger ones in just in case one of those sick moves happen. And as far as where I'd put buy orders in, I realize if it comes back to this, in this mathematical situation like this, if the market is to retrace, I wouldn't be too excited about buying at this previous low area because I'd be seeing the total failed breakout here, that I probably even want to consider an original buyback down towards here, which makes sense if you're buying at 21 to even wait till, I mean, if it goes to 16, that's a differential of still 30-40%, which is about the least of it, or the minimum amount of decline I'd be looking to get into. But I realize in a situation like this, and I'm still trying to think if I'm actually going to be making a purchase on this, for this was requested by Anne, thank you very much, that I just very well may look to enter into a position for such. And then, of course, as I mentioned how I trade, just trade around that strategy. Thank you for tuning into today's video. Like always, again, your own risk, own reward. But I find this risk-reward game, yes, game, really fun. It's all about control. And if you can take it, I am the game. At least I feel I'm the game. Take care.